Since the announcement of Matrix 5, we've made many videos discussing new theories about what could happen in the next installment, from Neo becoming the architect to Smith becoming a hero. So in this video, we've gathered up 5 of the most interesting theories regarding 5 iconic Matrix characters and their possible and hopeful return to the simulation. Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Number 5. The traitor Cipher. Morpheus was last seen alive in Zion embracing Niobe, watching as the Sentinels retreated after Neo reached a peace agreement with the machines.
Is this real?
It's understandable why he found it hard to believe, since Neo had revealed to Morpheus that all of his beliefs were a lie.
It was a lie, Morpheus. The prophecy was a lie. The one was never meant to end anything.
This is perhaps the biggest piece of evidence that validates Cipher's warnings that he gave to Neo. Cipher suspected that Morpheus was a dangerous fanatic. He himself had fallen prey to this cult and its leader. Cipher had sought the answer to the question about his existence, just to later find himself trapped in a post-apocalyptic cult that forced him to eat slop and sent him to war, which he most likely did not want to be a part of. As we've mentioned before in many videos, the only reason Cipher put up with Morpheus and his group was because of Trinity. He was in love with her. Trinity is one of the most important elements that pushes forward the path of the One, and Cipher was caught in the middle of this plan. But think about this. If Cipher had not betrayed his group, the anomaly might have never been activated. So like Judas who betrayed Jesus, Cipher wasn't needed to fulfill an important part in the God of the Simulation's plan, the Architect's plan.
We're all here to do what we're all here to do.
Cipher was convinced that Morpheus would lead them to their deaths.
You see an agent, you do what we do. Run.
Cipher lost his life at the hands of Tank, dashing his hopes of being reconnected to the Matrix. Even after his death, time ended up proving him right, as Morpheus in the future would come to distrust the Oracle, ignoring her warnings and leading Zion to its destruction.
But as rumors of this new power spread, he ignored them. He was certain what you had done could not be undone.
The death of Morpheus and the destruction of Zion showed that Cipher was right in trying to jump ship. Zion's end was inevitable, and Cipher did not want to burn with the city. If he had not betrayed Morpheus, the anomaly may have taken longer to activate, but eventually everything would have happened anyway. But maybe Cipher's story isn't over yet. Certain events in the world of the Matrix are expected or needed to be repeated, such as someone must lead the anomaly, another must love them, and another must betray them. The one must have a mentor, a lover, and a backstabber. Perhaps one could make the argument that Jude is the backstabber in Matrix Resurrections, with him being the closest thing to a friend Tom had, but we would disagree, even though Jude and Judas are almost the same name. Coincidence in the Matrix? What do you think? Therefore, it is possible that in the previous cycles, Cipher also existed, and that he was the cause of Neo dying and being resurrected as the One. How did we come to this conclusion? Well, it starts with the architect looking for the perfect balance in the equation. For each new cycle of the Matrix, the Father is working to improve the Matrix code, the path of the One. The activation of the anomaly was planned, supervised, and guided by the architect. He would oversee every detail, every event. Every step that Neo took in his life was controlled by the father and mother of the simulation.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix.
Understanding the architect's words, he had complete control over everything that happened to Neo. And not only that, the simulation has been repeated so many times that the architect has lost count. The father did say that there were 6 versions of the Matrix, but in reality, there could have been 6 million versions. Then later, when the analyst took Neo's body, he tried to activate the anomaly, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't. The analyst discovered that Trinity was needed to activate Neo's powers, but Cipher was also needed. That's why we believe Cipher must have appeared in the other simulations as well, serving as the Judas archetype to lead Thomas Anderson to his death and his resurrection. The humans in the Matrix are not completely human. We have clearly established that in many of our videos. They are half machine, half human hybrid clones. Since they are clones, the architect can maintain consistency in each version of the Matrix. For the architect to find the stability and the balancing of the Matrix, he needed to maintain a set course where elements are repeated, which included repeating events that lead to the emergence of the One, to which again, Cipher is one of those elements. The Matrix Resurrections brought many new revelations, including the vindication of Cipher. The warnings he gave to Neo were not unwarranted. Cipher may be as important as Morpheus and Trinity, as he warns Neo that the machines aren't the only thing to be afraid of. For our part, we don't know if Joe Pantoliano, the actor who played Cipher, has been asked before if he would be willing to return to the Matrix, but it would be interesting to see Cipher return, maybe as an AI program, with the real Cipher's memories and feelings intact, including his hatred for Neo and Trinity. The Matrix is a franchise where dead characters have literally come back to life. Of course, it doesn't technically have to be the Cipher that burned to a crisp in Matrix 1, but rather an AI reconstruction, or an alternate version of the character from another Matrix cycle. Number 4. The Program Without Purpose, Sati. Sati's origin begins with Ramachandra and Kamala, two programs that fell in love. The father, Rama, is the power plant system manager for recycling operations, a long-winded title for the program whose purpose might be to oversee the recycling of human remains. Sati's mother, Kamala, is a program who is very creative. Rama and Kamala fell in love and had Sati, which, as far as we know, is the only program to be born out of love between two pieces of code and has no objective purpose within the simulation. Every program in the Matrix needs a purpose because they are part of a whole. Each piece is important to the system's efficiency.
This company is one of the top software companies in the world because every single employee understands that they are part of a whole. Thus, if an employee has a problem, the company has a problem.
The machines have worked this way since the creation of City 01, where they collaborated and economically outperformed the humans. Therefore, a program that has no purpose is discarded and eliminated. Thus, Rama came up with a plan to prevent Sati from being erased. He would strike a deal with an information broker to smuggle Sati into the Matrix. The price Rama must pay for his daughter's safe transportation to the simulation was the termination codes of the Oracle. This is where the story starts to get complicated. In The Matrix Reloaded, Neo sees Rama talking to the Merovingian. The deal was struck between the two programs, and so Rama and Kamala escorted their daughter to Mobile Ave, where they waited to be transported to the Matrix by the train man. It is here where Neo meets Sati and her family.
My name is Sati. Your name is Snell.
Here we also find out that Rama knew the Oracle and that he was willing to do whatever it took to protect his family. Rama had given the Oracle's termination code to the Merovingian, which nearly brought about the end of the fortune teller. However, what the Merovingian didn't know was that the Oracle had already foreseen Rama's betrayal. What's more is that it is possible that the Oracle wanted Rama to betray her. She wanted Sati because the girl was important.
Because the child is important. I can't tell you why, but I believe that one day the child will change both our world and your world forever.
The girl was so important that the Oracle was willing to sacrifice her body. We assumed that it was all part of the Oracle's plan, as we later see that Rama left Sati in the Oracle's care. Now, why is Sati so important that the Oracle would put herself at risk? And why does she teach her how to make cookies? Remember, the cookies are not real, they're symbolic. It is the Oracle teaching another program how to create new codes within the Matrix. Sati, a program without purpose, is being given one by the Oracle, who has given new purpose to programs that has lost theirs, such as Seraph. Seraph, who was originally a former agent of the Matrix turned exile under the control of the Merovingian, became the Oracle's guardian. Remember that the Oracle had many children under her care before, but Sati is the only one we've seen being taught by the Oracle herself.
Cookies need love like everything does.
On other occasions, we have talked about how the Oracle has used love as a tool against the machines. Therefore, what the Oracle was doing with Sati was probably preparing her to think and act like her. We have theorized that Sati may have absorbed part of the anomaly's code when she was assimilated by Smith, thus granting her the power to modify the Matrix. But she could have just inherited this ability from her mother Kamala, who was a creative program. Either way, Sati is still very special. This brings us to the Matrix Resurrections. We first see Sati in Matrix 4 during the montage of Neo's ordinary daily life in the simulation. Pay close attention and you will see that Sati not only interacted with Neo in the simulation, but also with Trinity. Sati worked at the house on Nanking Noodle Shop, serving noodles to Neo and Trinity. This tells us two important things about the character. First, unlike the Oracle or any other exiles who need to hide, Sati is still inside the simulation, keeping a close eye on Neo and Trinity. Second, this suggests that the analyst allows Sati to be in the simulation, which could mean that she is possibly an ally of the system. She and her family were apparently working for the enemy without knowing it. How do we know this? Well, because Sati kind of said so.
My father knew we'd meet again, though he would have wished for happier circumstances. His inadvertent role in what happened to you was the greatest regret of his life.
I don't understand.
My father was the chief engineer at the Anomalyum.
This is one of the biggest revelations in the movie. Rama was working for the analyst, but there was a chance that he was acting as a double agent, still following the orders of the Oracle. However, this wouldn't make sense, considering the remorse Sati feels. As far as we know, Rama did work for the analyst, and was the one who created Neo and Trinity's new prison. It's possible that Rama did this to prevent the analyst from purging Sati, since his actions were always motivated by protecting his family. Later, when Sati reveals her identity to Neo, Niobe is greatly upset with her for not telling her that she knew that Neo and Trinity were still alive. Sati responded that she often doubted if she was doing the right thing by not telling them the truth. The fact that Sati hid this vital information for years from the humans, and that the analyst did not purge her, leads us to believe that Sati was still on the analyst's side, or pretending to be. Sati then mentions something crucial about Rama's work.
When my father realized how the Anomalyum was going to be used, he covertly transferred the designs to me. The analyst discovered his betrayal and had my parents purged. I would have been murdered too if it wasn't for Kujaku.
This part is important because Rama giving his daughter the designs of the Anomalyum was a betrayal to the analyst. Maybe what could have happened is that when Rama was working on the Anomalyum, the Oracle was still alive, and when he found out what it was being used for, he gave the designs to Sati to warn the Oracle, but it was too late. The analyst had purged the fortune teller. Then he purged Sati's parents, and Sati had to escape to the real world. Now Sati had to hide outside the Matrix. This is a better explanation of how she can be inside the simulation, hidden in plain sight of the analyst. Her code is stored inside a sentient named Kujaku. From it, she can hack into the simulation without the analyst knowing. Sati was also key in rescuing Trinity since she knew how the Anomalyum worked. She devised the plan, and Trinity was successfully rescued from the analyst. Yet we cannot help but to question Sati's intentions. Was she really able to sneak into the Matrix without the analyst knowing? Why didn't she just tell Niobe that Neo and Trinity were alive in the first place? Is it in any way possible that Sati could be working for the analyst? Or was Sati simply following the wishes of the now missing Oracle? The Oracle has been teaching Sati since she was a little girl. Now that she is gone, a void remains in the path of the One. We believe that Sati's destiny is to become the new Oracle. Sati becoming the Oracle could repeat history and create a new system of oppression. And if that is the case, she could also be destined to become the new antagonist. Actress Priyanka Chopra was very receptive to the idea of playing Sati again. Sati is a key character in the Matrix, so perhaps it was always the Oracle's plan to have Sati replace her. Number 3. The evil agent turned anti-hero, Smith. Smith began as an agent of the Matrix, those in charge of maintaining the simulation's facade. They are in charge of eliminating threats that put the simulation at risk. They pursued humans and programs that have defected. The agents are the architect's personal military force within the simulation. When Neo destroyed Agent Smith, he copied part of the anomaly's code into him, turning Smith into the negative side of the One. Smith turned into a virus that nearly led to everyone's extinction. But thanks to the truce between the machines and Neo, they managed to stop Smith. Neo loses his life in the process. The sacrifice of the One eradicated the negative part of the anomaly, while a particular program was watching from the sidelines. The analyst took Neo's body and used it and its connection to Smith to conduct experiments. Those experiments led to Neo, Trinity, and Smith being under the control of the analyst. Smith was under the analyst's control until Neo escaped from the simulation again. Like Neo, who had a new residual self-image or digital self-image to prevent other people from recognizing him, Smith's appearance was also changed into a younger man. The analyst did not want Neo, Trinity, and Smith to recognize each other, to remember who they were, and risk losing control over them. And so he changed their looks and placed them close to each other. Tom in each simulation would meet Trinity or Tiffany and dream of being with her. Tiffany would be married, and a relationship between them was purposely made impossible to cause negative emotions in Tom. Negative emotions produced more energy for the Matrix, and so the analyst kept all three of them close, but not too close.
As long as I managed to keep you close, but not too close, I discovered something incredible. Turns out in my Matrix, the worse we treat you, the more we manipulate you, the more energy you produce.
But Neo's suffering was not only caused by him missing Trinity, but part of it was also the mistreatment of his boss, who was Smith. It was Tom's own personal hell for his subconscious, since he had to work for Smith and see Trinity married to someone else. When Smith manages to break free from the analyst's control, his demeanor changes. Smith is now a slightly friendlier and slightly less destructive program who seeks vengeance on the analyst, in addition to him being a surprise hero of the film. Now there is something else that we need to understand about Smith. Smith was the one who nearly fulfilled the prophecy of the One, not Neo. No one has come closer to destroying the Matrix than the former agent. Smith's attitude in Matrix Resurrections is very different from his nihilistic destroyer days in the original trilogy. The reason Smith is now more amicable to Neo is that he has undergone new changes in his personality. Just as Tom lost his memories, Smith also lost his when the analyst was experimenting on them. And yet there is a much more important factor that we cannot forget that could have influenced Smith, and that is when Neo allowed himself to be assimilated by Smith. If Neo passed on the negative parts of the anomaly to Smith when he destroyed him in Matrix 1, then by allowing himself to be assimilated in Matrix 3, he passed another part of the anomaly to Smith, a more optimistic part. Smith and Neo could be the yin and the yang, but as the symbol shows, in darkness there can be light, and in light there can be darkness. Smith, affected by the anomaly and the analyst's experiments, has begun a path of recovery and possible collaboration with humans. He was reborn. By the end of Matrix Resurrections, Smith feels superior to Neo and Trinity. He feels special.
Anyone could have been you, whereas I've always been anyone.
Now there is something that all of us Matrix fans would love to see. Just as Tom lost his digital self-image that made him look like an old man and regained his real one, we want Smith to lose his new digital self-image and revert to his original appearance. That is, we want to see Hugo Weaving again. Originally, Lana Wachowski wanted to bring back the original Smith in Matrix 4, but due to scheduling issues, they couldn't make that happen. In an interview with Collider, Hugo Weaving said the following, and I quote, "Lana was very keen for me to be part of the Matrix 4. I really wanted to, because I'm very fond of all of them. I had some initial reticence about the idea of going back to revisit the Matrix after having already done 3 films. But then I read the script and got an offer to my agent. I immediately responded yes to that. And then we went into negotiations. I was doing a play at the time, but we were working on dates and things so that I could do both. And then Lana decided that she didn't want to change her dates, so I couldn't do it. In a nutshell, that's what happened." End quote. Now then, Smith's story ending on a cliffhanger may be a hint that there is still more of his story to tell. Hugo Weaving wanted to return for Matrix 4, even though Smith's role wasn't that important. But it still means that the actor is still open to do more Matrix projects. Let's say that Matrix 5 is a continuation of Matrix Resurrections. Smith's story should continue to evolve. His arc is not yet complete. From being an agent of the Matrix, to a world-ending destructive entity, and then to an unexpected hero, Smith's character evolution is much more complex than any other Matrix character. But perhaps the most interesting plot for the next film is the Matrix, but through Smith's perspective. What if the movie's story, instead of focusing on Neo, focuses on Smith from his origin to what happened to him after Matrix 4? If anyone has the power to destroy the Matrix, it's Smith. And we believe that a film focused on him would be much more interesting than seeing another movie with Neo and Trinity. At the moment, there is no information about the new movie's plot, only that it was announced as Matrix 5, which increases the probability that it will be a sequel to Resurrections. But we believe that it will be a new story that will expand the world of the Matrix, not necessarily a sequel. Surely Matrix 5 will take place at a different time and setting, an entirely new story within the Matrix universe, or maybe even a prequel. And yet a movie about Agent Smith, from Guardian to Destroyer to Anti-Hero, the one who nearly fulfilled the prophecy of the One, is a much more interesting idea in our opinion. Like Neo, Smith is a pivotal character, and it's about time we see his final evolution, but as the original Smith. Nothing against Jonathan Groff, but we just want Hugo Weaving again. Number 2. The next architect, Neo. One could say that the father of the Matrix has many roles. The most important one is to create a perfect simulation to maintain the humans under control so that the machines can drain as much bioenergy from them as possible. This task is now in the hands of the analyst, yet both programs share the same deficiency. They both failed in creating and maintaining the perfect simulation. Humans continue to reject the simulation. Back in The Matrix Reloaded, the architect asks Neo to pick a set number of humans to repopulate Zion and reset the Matrix. What the father is actually doing is leaving the future of Zion and the Matrix in the hands of the integral anomaly. In other words, the architect makes the One the creator of the next simulation. This is not a simple act of delegation, but a strategy designed to perpetuate the cycle of control. Neo unwittingly becomes a key piece of the system he sought to destroy, ensuring the longevity of the simulation and reinforcing the power of the machines over the humans. The function of the anomaly has always been to update the Matrix and perpetuate the enslavement of humanity. You could say that the architect was grooming Neo to take his place, just like the Oracle groomed Sati to take hers. Now with the architect purged, there is only one that can become the new true architect that can perfect the Matrix to a point where the humans cannot or would not want to escape. And it's not the analyst, it's Tom Anderson. Perhaps this has been the intention all along, and we have already saw the signs before, but just didn't notice them until now. Let's reflect on this for a second. In the first film, Thomas Anderson is a programmer and a hacker. Coincidentally, in The Matrix Resurrections, he is a game designer and programmer who creates simulations or models, creates NPC programs, non-playable characters, and places them inside these models. The architect created the Matrix and the programs that govern it. Neo did the same in Matrix 4. He created his own Matrix and NPC versions of Morpheus and others. This means that every step Neo took on his path was moving him away from being a human and a savior to a creator of worlds. The end of Neo's story is becoming clearer. The reason Neo doesn't age is that he is an experiment by the machines to create the perfect architect. The path of the architect begins with the lie of being the savior of humanity, only to reset the Matrix until at last 100% acceptance is achieved. And when that happens, humanity will be lost forever. In the end, the idea of a savior was always an engineered strategy by the Matrix to reinforce its control over those who are trapped inside it. Now at the end of the Matrix Resurrections, Neo and Trinity fly off together hand in hand. The act symbolizes their supposed freedom, while the analyst, curiously, is just allowed to remain within the Matrix despite his failure. This suggests that despite the humans' temporary triumph, the cycle has not been completely broken. History is most likely destined to repeat itself, but the role of the perfect architect still remains vacant. The Matrix 5 could conclude with Neo accepting his true role as the new architect. And to be honest, imagining Neo sitting in the architect's chair inside his iconic room and overseeing the simulation from the countless small TVs on the walls could be one of, if not the coolest way to end Neo's journey. And number 1, the missing mother of the Matrix, the Oracle. The Oracle doesn't seem to enter often in the conversation about the most powerful characters of the Matrix. Neo and/or Smith are nearly always the ones at the center of these discussions. However, the Oracle is one powerful character. She influenced the events of the original trilogy. She was created to understand the human psyche and became a key player in humanity's imprisonment. When humans lost the war against the machines, the remaining humans had their minds imprisoned inside a computer simulation. The creator of the Matrix, the architect, created multiple simulations of the real world while siphoning the bioenergy from humans. But no matter how hard the architect tried, he couldn't get the humans to believe in the simulation. They eventually realized the lie and rejected it. The Oracle found the cause of the dilemma. Although the Matrix was perfect in design, humans didn't feel like they were in control. The Oracle told the architect to add the freedom of choice to the equation, even though choice was inconsequential. False. It's thanks to the Oracle that the option for humans to awaken from the Matrix exists.
You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Choice is an illusion created between those with power and those without.
As the Merovingian rightly said, in the Matrix, choice was an illusion, and this illusion was total. The Oracle is responsible for the prophecies of a savior that were never fulfilled, and she is also responsible for guiding escaped humans to a city that was secretly controlled by the machines. The Oracle had been manipulating humans from the start, but then something changed. The Oracle came to an important realization about the survival of humans and machines.
I'm interested in one thing, Neo, the future. And believe me, I know the only way to get there is together.
There is when the Oracle begins to devise a plan to twist the architect's arm. She adds another element to the equation besides choice and secrecy. This element is love, the love between two particular individuals.
Your experience is far more specific vis-a-vis love. Already I can see the chain reaction. The chemical precursors that signal the onset of an emotion designed specifically to overwhelm logic and reason. An emotion that is already blinding you from the simple and obvious truth.
Only a human mind could invent something as insipid as love.
Here we must highlight something important. We believe that the Oracle added this element through her food, her cookies, and she charmed Neo and Trinity into eating them. Remember that Trinity's prophecy was also linked to the One. So both she and Neo were connected to the integral anomaly from the beginning. Now then, later the Oracle allows herself to be assimilated by Smith because she knew that this would force Neo and Deus Ex Machina to work together, just as she believed, forcing them to find common ground and come to a truce, thus achieving equality between them.
You played a very dangerous game.
Change always is.
The Matrix Revolutions concluded with the Oracle seeing a new dawn alongside Sati and hoping that the architect would keep his promise, but the truce will later cause a problem. Not all machines wanted to comply with it, and faced with a power crisis, the analyst rose as the new leader, causing a purge of the old system and creating a new version of the Matrix. Before the analyst took full control of the Matrix, the Oracle sent a message to Morpheus, who was now the leader of Zion, warning him of the new danger. But Morpheus chose to ignore her. Morpheus believed that Neo had achieved a definitive peace, and he also distrusted the Oracle because she had lied to him. Unfortunately, not listening to the Oracle led to Zion's destruction, and afterward, nothing more was heard from the mother of the Matrix.
We got word from the Oracle of a new power rising. That was the last we heard from her.
As we have mentioned in multiple videos, the Oracle having the power to change bodies gives her a unique ability to avoid death, so it's hard to believe that the analyst destroyed her so easily. If the Merovingian could survive the purge, then the Oracle must have as well. So what could an Oracle-focused Matrix 5 movie be like? As we know, the Oracle is a major character, so a story focused on what happened to her during the Machine's civil war would be amazing. We could see the beginning of the Matrix, and the end of the Architect's reign, the entire creation of the Path of the One, and why the Oracle switched to the side of the humans. The story of the Oracle is a fascinating one, We are also open to the idea of an Oracle film, with Priyanka Chopra reprising her role as Sati. Furthermore, the movie could explore what happened to the members of the Oracle's faction, like Seraph and the Potentials, the children that were in her apartment. Were they purged as well? Did they fight in the Machine Civil War? Now, sadly, the two actresses who played the Oracle passed away years ago, so the character's return with a familiar appearance is difficult, but not impossible with the use of makeup and AI technology. Some good examples are Egon in Ghostbusters Afterlife and Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian. But since the Oracle has already changed her appearance before, the character can't simply be recast a third time. Another thing to note about the Oracle is that her appearance is part of her facade. She takes on the appearance of the stereotypical sweet old lady who loves to bake and takes care of children. It's all part of her manipulation to lower the guard of those who seek her guidance. The Oracle did switch sides and now supports the humans, so she doesn't need to keep up with the charade. That means that the Oracle can be anyone and can be played by anyone, though the character should maintain that air of mystique she's always had. We on this channel have a lot of fun making videos on the theory that the Oracle could be evil, and she's one of our favorite characters. Part of what makes the Matrix special to us is the mystery behind the intuitive program. But do you agree? What characters would you like to see return in Matrix 5? Will Neo become the next architect? Will Agent Smith become the true hero of the Matrix? Could Sati become the new Oracle? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.